What's up, guys? As many of you may know, my favorite film director currently is Nicolas Winding Refn. I like Stanley Kubrick, and I think that they both share similarities. And I know, unfortunately for Refn, he's getting mainstream recognition for his past movie Drive, which was an excellent movie, but it's like give him credit where it's due. He's created a whole bunch of movies from the 90s even to 2012, and he did get recognition for Bronson and Valhalla Rising. That was more limited recognition, and I'm not saying he should get a lot of recognition. I'm just saying basically the point of this video is I'm going to point out some of his other movies that I really enjoy, and maybe I'll rank them, the ones I've seen at least. I'll start off with the movies I haven't seen by him, and those two are Furex, starring John Turturro, and Bleeder, starring I think his name's Kim Bodnia. I think it's Kim Bodnia. He's in the Pusher trilogy, Pusher One. I think they're Danish too, maybe Swedish. But yeah, I haven't seen those movies. Bleeder got pretty good reviews. Furex did not, but that's back when people are like, they didn't really praise visual style over story. And personally, I think that movies these days shouldn't have to follow the cookie cutter form of great plot, great acting. I think Refn's style is visual heavy, and his films work perfectly for that. They don't need the best story in the world to get the message across, and that's why I love him so much. He's taking a very different approach. All right. Well, having said that, I have seen, of the three Pusher movies I've only seen the third one with the English subtitles. So the first two weren't that enjoyable for me because I try to interpret what they were saying, and half the time they're talking about pussy and like doing drugs. But yeah, the Pusher trilogy. They're crime movies pretty much, drug trafficking and drug selling and all that, drug lords. Very violent, very fucking bloody, especially the third one. The acting's good, believable, and you really feel the emotion and the kind of cause and effect that the characters go through, each and every one of them. And they carry over each movie carries over in a way. Not necessarily from ending to beginning of the second one to the third one. It's kind of just, like how the stories parallel each other and how one character's story is influenced by the other. I recommend checking those out if you have the time. My two favorite movies by Refn, Bronson and Valhalla Rising. Bronson's a great movie starring Tom Hardy. And if you don't know who Tom Hardy is, you're an idiot. He's in Inception. He will be in The Dark Knight Rises. He's in Warrior. What else is he in? I guess I'm an idiot, but I named a few movies. Yeah, so he plays Charles Bronson, a famous prisoner who's notorious for not actually murdering anyone. He did steal and have a few robberies, but he's notorious for kind of like fighting his way through prisons on purpose. He would go from prison to prison to prison just to kind of like spice up his life, I guess. But yeah, it's brilliantly filmed. It's got a great tone to it. It's both comedic and pretty serious. It can be. I feel like it's kind of a play at some points, because there are kind of these monologues that Tom Hardy gives as his character, but he's dressed up in front of a whole crowd, and he's kind of like giving a speech about his life. I wasn't too fond of those scenes, but it's kind of like, you have the story that goes on, you kind of get inside his head and what he thinks about it. And then he does narrate most of the movie, Tom Hardy, Charles Bronson. But there still is dialogue. It's just it's like most of his movies, it's relatively slow paced. But it's just you should probably see it. I'd probably say, but a lot. Next movie, Valhalla Rising. That is my all-time favorite movie. I've seen it like 20 times, and it's hard to tell someone to watch this movie because the total dialogue, screenplay plot. It's probably like 5 pages total printed, double spaced, double spaced. But that's not important. What I just said, it's about the emotion. And in Valhalla Rising, you have these Vikings and this slave, and it's about the slave breaking free. And there's a lot of kind of reading between the lines in this movie. There's a lot of interpretation that you can make for yourself. Refn says it's kind of about God. He said in some interview I watched, it's about God descending down from the heavens and trying to bring his whatever soul back or something like that. I don't want to ruin the movie, but that's definitely a movie where visual aesthetic is favored over story. But again, I'm all for that. I think Valhalla Rising is one of the best films that you could watch with that sort of mentality that's going through. I think it's a great movie. My favorite movie. It's not for everyone. It's violent too, like all of his movies. Very gory. It's beautiful. It's just so beautiful. It's filmed in Scotland, I believe. It's just the most amazing landscapes you could ever see. It's a very dreary film, very eerie. The acting, people knock the acting in this movie, but a movie like this is like the acting is so natural. Nothing's forced. I don't know what's so hard to believe about that. I think people are expecting actors to like sell their souls to the devil in order to be good acting. It has to be a big budget film. It has to be George Clooney being a fucking like rich ass dad or something like that. But that's not the case. Drive. This is his latest release. And this is the movie that Refn got most of his heat for. Chris, how's the gym?